Welcome to the Fast Friday Facts for October the 9th, 2020. Glad to have you with us today. Hope you've enjoyed your fall break, and man, it was great weather for a fall break. Hope you had a chance to relax and to rejuvenate a little bit. Looking forward to the return to school on Monday, October the 12th, 2020. We plan to return just like we left for fall break. If you were in person, you'll be back in person. And if you were interactive distance, you'll be interactive distance. This coming week is our regular Board of Education meeting. We have two of them actually this week, as we normally do. On Monday, it's a work session, October the 12th, and on Thursday, October the 15th, it's our regular session. Both of those are available online. We encourage you to join and participate, see what's going on, what the conversations are. There's a link available from our webpage. It'll be available by the beginning of the meeting on Monday. You can access the agendas there as well. Speaking of the webpage, this week we added a dashboard to the website that will allow you to track the impact of the local incidence rate of COVID-19 on our schools and our method of attendance. If you visit the webpage and you go to the quick links section on the left-hand side, you'll be able to see that dashboard. The dashboard includes the date that we're reporting, and we usually report sometime after 4:30 each day. It'll report the current number of new cases that we believe we have in the county over the last 7 days, and it'll report the incident rate for Garrett County, as well as the current color that we're on. That color status is based on the COVID-19 mode of instruction metrics for K-12 education, which was developed by the Kentucky Department of Public Health and the Kentucky Department of Education. We've linked that site to our dashboard, and you're welcome to go take a look. It consists of 4 categories. A green category, which means we have less than 1 case per 100,000 daily. Yellow, which is 1 to 10 cases per 100,000 daily. Orange, which is 10 to 25 cases per 100,000 daily. And then red, which is greater than 25 cases per 100,000. Now, the calculation is based on the total number of new cases in our county for the past 7 days. Then you divide that number by 7, and then you divide that number by 17,666, which is the current listed population for the county, and then you multiply that number times 100,000. That gives you the current incidence rate for the county. This metric was issued on September the 29th, and I'll be asking the Board of Education next week to use this method of determining whether we are in person or whether we're distance. Hopefully, we'll never have to make the decision to suspend in-person learning, but if we do, it will be based on this metric. That part's out of our hands. We can't control the numbers. We just have to deal with them. But I do want to stress that the numbers aren't based on anything that's going on in the school. It's based on our community numbers. So if there's a spike in the community, there could be an impact to us. Red in the metrics means we have to return to interactive distance learning for everyone. When we're green, yellow, or orange as a community, then in-person learning can continue. So how will all of this work? So I'll be asking the board to approve the following process. After the release of numbers on Saturday evening, we'll determine if in-person learning can continue for the following week. If we're orange, yellow, or green, we'll be in person. There'll be no announcements made. We'll only make an announcement if we ever have to halt in-person learning. It'd be similar to how we would do a snow day, or how you've dealt with snow days in the past. On a day when we have to cancel, we make that announcement, but if there's no announcement, then we're continuing to go. The same will be true in this process. In-person learning is on unless we tell you something differently. There is one slight difference, though, to the process and how snow days worked. We'll know in advance. We'll know the evening before. So you won't have a 5 o'clock notification saying there's no school because of the COVID situation. If we're having to drop or suspend in-person learning, you'll know that the evening before. If we can ever get further ahead than that, then we certainly will do that. We are working closely with the Garrett County Health Department. They share their numbers with us each day, and that helps us keep up to date on what our local numbers are. When you check the dashboard, it will align with the data that's been released by the state. And as I said earlier, we update that between 4 and 5 each afternoon. Our update follows the state update that appears on the Department of Public Health website. Earlier this week, we made a decision to cancel some athletic activities based on the data that we had at the time. The data changed, and we probably could have held the athletic events. So that was my fault for anticipating. I'll not make that mistake again. We'll work on the actual data, not what we think is coming. So if we do need to announce a suspension of in-person learning, it will happen on the evening before we need that to occur. The next part of the process is determining when we would return to in-person learning if we do ever have to suspend. Currently, the plan is if we have to suspend in-person learning, it will be suspended for the remainder of the week. So here are two examples. Example one, if we suspend in-person learning on Wednesday of a particular week, we'll also suspend for Thursday and Friday of that week. Example two is if we suspend in-person learning on Monday, it will be suspended for Tuesday through Friday as well. I know no one is excited about that, but that's the most simple way for us to move forward with this and not be jumping in and out on a daily basis. If we suspend in-person learning at any point during a week, we will reassess for the following week on the weekend. The idea is that we will always allow at least 3 days between the suspension of in-person learning and the return to in-person learning. A 3-day minimum would occur if we suspended for Friday. In that case, we would have 3 days of data before we did a return. If we were to suspend on Monday, we would have 7 days of data. That's the plan I'll be asking the board to approve next week. If any part changes, we'll be sure to update you. Let's hope we don't ever have to utilize the plan. Let's hope our local numbers don't require us to make a decision to suspend in-person learning. But we want you to understand the process and the numbers that we are using. So now that that's out of the way, let's get back to school on Monday, October the 12th, in the pathway you were in on Friday, October the 2nd, before fall break. In person if you were in person, interactive distance if you were virtual. 2 quick technology updates. Garrett County is switching our phone systems. And I know some of you are saying, well, why didn't you do that over the break? And we would have been happy to, but our service providers couldn't make it happen then. So next week, we will be making a switch, and our fingers are crossed that things go well. The work's been done on our end, and so at this point it comes down to our service providers. Because they tend to be slow, temporarily we're going to be using 2 systems. Our staff will do all that they can to keep the transition as unnoticed as possible, and we will be providing a temporary solution to the system, so watch for more information about that. The second update is that we've received a new order of Chromebooks, and those new Chromebooks will be going to our 6th and 9th grade students. So both the middle school and the high school will be developing a plan to switch out the Chromebook currently being used by 6th and 9th grade. Once that occurs, and I don't have a timeline yet, the books that we retrieve from 6th and 9th grade will be moved down to our 5th and 4th grade students. More information will be coming to you as we have it, but we wanted you to be aware of that good news. Okay, so let's wrap this up. Fall break is coming to an end. School's coming back on Monday, October the 12th. Hope to see all of you in person or in interactive distance, whichever process you've been set up for. Also, don't forget to watch the board meetings next week. We do have some exciting news. We'll be recognizing 5 students of the month on Thursday, and we thank Farmers National Bank for sponsoring that. We'll also recognize our 2nd teacher of the month, and we thank Whole Latte Love for sponsoring that recognition. Hope you have a great weekend. We'll see everyone on Monday, and I'll check in again with you on Friday. Thanks for joining.